Hi everyone, welcome to another sewing tutorial. Today we'll be learning how to draft a princess bustier with an overbust tightening. So now let's get started. The first thing, let me get my starting line points. I like having my lines first before doing anything. So now this is my line. The length I'm going to use for this tutorial is a length of 21 inches. That's my half length. Now this is a half scale block, half length. You can add, this one is when you want to add it to a peplum or a gown. Then my shoulder measurement is 16. That's divided by 2. That's 8 inches. So now let's start our vertical measurement. My underbust is 16 inches. Bust point is 12 inches. Then my bustier is 8.5. Bustier is also known as the chest line. So I'll repeat the same line here. 8.5, 12, 16. Then my full length. If you want to get your half length, you can either do 3 inches or 4 inches after your underbust. 3 or 4, but let me use 4. Let me use 4 inches. So these are all my lines. Let me connect the lines together. Now this is just the seam allowance. This line here is the seam allowance. Now repeat my shoulder measurement on my chest line. Then you connect the lines together. This tutorial is for those that doesn't know how to draft a princess bustier with overbust tightening. Normally we're supposed to be tightening our overbust, our underbust rather. We'll still do a tutorial of overbust tightening, but for today's tutorial it is underbust tightening. So my breast separation or nipple to nipple is 4.5 inches. 4.5 inches. I'll take it to the full length, 4.5 inches. Then we'll connect our lines together. We mark a straight line. Now let's do the standard measurement of 3.3 by 3. This is just a, you can now decide to modify your neckline the way you want, but for this tutorial let's just do 3 by 3. Connect your 3 by 3. The width is 3, the depth is 3. Then for our shoulder slope, always use 1 inch. Always use 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Then you connect the line. So now to form our armhole, whatever that is left here, after taking your shoulder slope, you divide it by 2. You divide it by 2. Now the midpoint, you now go out by half inch. Half inch like this. Then you connect it to this line here. So now let's now put our measurements. The round measurement for my bust is 43. That's divided by 4. That's 10.75. You repeat it here. 10.75. 10.75. Then my half length is 34 divided by 4. That's 8.5. You repeat the same measurements here. 8.5. So now let's take our darts. Now I'm going to use the darts of 0.75 on both sides. 0.75 on both sides. Then on my bust points, you come down by 1 inch. Come down by 1 inch. Then you connect the line. From that waist measurements, from the half length, you take it down. Then you do the same thing on this side. Then you take it down. So here now, you just mark here straight down like this. Let's add our our darts back. Now we did, this is 1.5 inches. You take it back here, you put it here 1.5 inches. Let's connect this line. So you can see this is our measurement now. So now for us to do the underbust tightening, my underbust is 32 inches. That is 8 inches. So you put the 8 inches here. So whatever you now have on this place, you input back here. So are you seeing? Then anything that is now left here is what you're now going to use for your underbust tightening. So I have 1.75 here, 1.75 here. So now I'm going to share it into two. Like I'll put 1 inch here, then I'll now put 0.75 on this line, 0.75 on this place. Then here 1 inch. I had to share it into two. You can share it equally, but you can also do it this way. So now let's connect measurements together. So from here now you take it to this 1 inch. You came down. You know we came down by 1 inch on our bust points. So you connect it like this. Can you see what I'm doing? Connect it like this. Then on this place too, you turn your curve ruler and also connect it down here. So with this now, we are done with our underbust tightening. So you now connect your line down here to the waistline. You connect it here too. Connect it to the waistline. So now that's about the underbust tightening. So now let's work on the princess dart. So on this your bust point, you come up by 1 inch. You come up by 1 inch. Just rule your line. Extend your line upward. Extend your line upward like this. Like this. Then here, you know we already have our middle line here. So you connect from here to this place. Before you connect, now let's connect this armhole first before we do that. So now we've connected the armhole. So you come down here on this line here. You come down by ½ inch. So you connect the first one, that middle line. Then you come down by that ½ inch also. You also come down and you extend the line upward. So you're not going to come up here by 1.5 inches, because if you do not do this, if you cut it direct, this place might get short. So just come up by 1.5 inches to be on the safer side. So when you finish sewing, anything that is left, you can now trim it off. So you now extend from this 1.5 inch to your actual measurements. So we are almost done with our measurements. Now we are going to do, because our front measurement and our back measurement is not always the same. For me, my front is, for most people though, their front is higher than their back by 2 inches, while some 2.5 or 3 inches. I'm going to put 1.5 on everything. I'm using 1.5 for the sewing allowance. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. So connect. This place has to be straight. Rule a straight line. Then now start connecting it from the rest down, like this, then to this place. Yeah. So like I was saying, our bust here, I just divide in between my underbust and my bust point. I'll mark 2 inches. Then I'll connect the line. You can also mark the 2 inches here. It's fine. Just connect it straight down. 2 inches. Just connect it straight down. Can you see? So now we're not going to manipulate that, but let's cut our pattern first. Let me cut this out so that I can close that bust dart. I hope you guys understand. If you did not understand, let me know in the comments. So you slash here, you open it like this. Don't slash it through, just slash very close to the bust point. Then you just close like this. Then you close it like this. You can see the way I close it. Then you use a marking tape or any tape you have. Use your tape and close the bust darts. You close the bust darts. You can see we are done closing the darts. So now you now remove the other excess darts. You remove it. Be careful. Just blend it properly. Then the ½ inch we came down on the armhole. That's just to avoid any bulging. You get. So you remove it out. So if here is too pointy, just use your curve ruler and just shape it and remove it. So now we are done with our measurements. So now you can see that by the time you close your bust dart, here automatically gets short. So what you just do is just take another paper and put it here like this. Put it here like this. Like this. Then also still tape it down so that you can add it up. You have to add it up. If not, your allowance will get short. Just add it up. Just add it up like this. Can you see the way I am adding it up? You can see what we have, shortage that we have. Just add it up like this. Then you now trim off the excess paper off it. So you trim the excess paper. That's that. Then the front, the center front, so you still trim off this, the darts. You trim off the darts. And now we are done with our measurements. We are done drafting our princess bustier. Can you see it? This is how it's going to be. So by the time you are now joining, you join with ½ inch on both sides, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. So you can now see the reason why I said you have to add 1.5 upward so that your paper doesn't get, your fabric rather doesn't get short. So you can see the way I'm tracing it like this, because you have to start sewing with ½ inch. You go like this, you go like this, you go like this. So you see, this is now the exact measurement. That's why I said add 1.5 on, extend this on this side so that your fabric doesn't go short. So now we are done with our princess bustier with underbust tightening. Okay, so guys, we are now going to draft the back. Let me still rule the 1 inch for my starting point. Now my zip allowance is 1 inch all the way down. 1 inch for zip allowance. Now the back length is 18 inches. Remember I said our back and our front is not the same length, so we did 20 inches for the front plus 1. If you can remember, this one is just for joining allowance in case there's any shortage. Normally you're supposed to add ½ inch for joining allowance, but I like adding 1. So 18 for the back plus 1 inch for joining allowance. Then you rule your line, connect your line. Now my shoulder is 8 inches. So the back depth, you can do any depth you want to, as in you like to use, but let me just use 1. Let me use 1. Then my underbust is 16. My breast point is 12. Then 8.5 for my chest line. Then you also still come here and put your shoulder measurements. You also connect the line. Yeah. So the same thing, 1 inch for slope. We did 3 inch for the width, then 1 inch for the depth. Connect, then now connect your line. So now 10.75 was what we used for my round bust measurements. So you just connect from here to here. Normally our back, our front, our cross chest for the front, you can always go in by 0.5 or 0.75, but for the back just leave it like this. There's no need going in, because our back is always wider than our front. So just leave it like this. Then now, so this place, still put your breast separation to the chest line. So you rule a straight line. So for this one, you do ½ inch on both sides. ½ inch on both sides. Then you now connect it to this chest line. There's no serious work at the back. So you connect it to this chest line. So we use 8.5 for our half length measurement, plus that you add it up, that's 1 inch, then plus allowance of 1.5 to here. So you connect, you rule a straight line. Now the back measurement is done. We are done with the back. To avoid your zip bulging at the back, you go out here by 1 inch. I like using 1 inch. You can use 1 inch or 0.75. So you connect it to this to this line here, to the starting point of the zip allowance. You connect it like this. My ruler is not long enough. Yeah. So you connect it like this. This is how you connect. So you add the 1 inch back here. You add it. The 1 inch you minus from your back. You know, you went in by 1, so this automatically becomes 2 inches. So you add the 1 inch back here. You add it back here. Don't worry that this place is looking somehow. It will blend up by the time you finish sewing. So you can see you go in here by 1 inch. Then we cut. We are done with our back measurement. It's as simple as that. Now this is it. This is it for the measurement. So if you are now sewing on your fabric, now still go. This is now automatically becomes your zip allowance. You know, 1 inch up here. Here is already 1 inch. So this automatically becomes your zip allowance. So you rule the line. So you rule it. This automatically becomes your zip allowance. That's why we added it back here, so that your fabric doesn't go short. So guys, this is all for the measurements or the cutting for today. This is the front and this is the back. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, comment and share. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.